With the announcement on Monday that the new undisputed champion is now an exclusive SmackDown performer, with the result of the Triple H vs Undertaker #1 Contender match now cancelled, SmackDown was built around a show-long series of matches to determine Lesnar's next challenger for Unforgiven, and with Raw on Monday not getting the post-SummerSlam viewership bump expected after the all-time great pay-per-view, SmackDown, which last Thursday drew its biggest audience in months for the final hype to the event, could not fully capitalize on the potential boosted interest for the follow-up, with the show preempted in New York along with several other secondary markets across the country, kicking off the tournament with a SummerSlam rematch of Edge vs Eddie going 8 minutes over the first quarter, with Eddie going over to advance, seeing the match drawing a 2.6 opening rating, potentially impacted by the preemptions but with viewership holding strong to translate to over 4.5 million viewers and an above-average figure on many of the shows with full distribution in the past several months. After releasing the May to July 2002 quarter business report last week to disappointing numbers in the first quarter to reflect the new reality for the company following the boom period numbers that started gradually from November 1997 until catching fire that will probably never be matched again through April 2002. Another consequence of the recent business decline saw the company officially announcing that both Vince and Linda McMahon won't be getting their bonuses after not reaching the financial goals in the latest quarter, noting in the report that it was decided that no incentive compensation would be paid to the McMahons above their regular salaries of $1 million to Vince and $750,000 to Linda, following both getting an additional $1.5 million for the same period in 2001. With Vince, in addition to his executive salary, also getting paid over $900,000 in performance fees for his role as a talent on WWF television, including several pay-per-view appearances, with SmackDown, which largely featured a straightforward wrestling show with no major angles or promo segments throughout, saw its biggest viewership jump of the night, next with Rey Mysterio vs Rico picking up over 500,000 viewers into the 5 million range, going 6 minutes over the final quarter, with Rey after settling in the company immediately continuing the strong performances against Kurt Angle on Sunday in his first WWE pay-per-view, with Angle commenting on the match saying that creative suggested the Rey match to him as a way to elevate Rey immediately after his debut and thought it would be an entertaining program based on their ring styles and characters, saying that while Rey is not the typical WWE headliner, he sees him in a similar way to Van Damme as someone with massive popularity due to his unique style that can potentially be placed in main event programs under the right circumstances, noting that working with Rey was one of the biggest tests of his career, as he never wrestled someone with Rey's style with him prior to SummerSlam, working on their footwork in the ring before delivering an all-time memorable opening match on the pay-per-view, with Eddie after advancing over Edge in the opening match facing Rikishi next in a match peaking the first hour with over 5.4 million viewers. While the WWE will run a Raw house show tomorrow night, perhaps the biggest wrestling show of the weekend worldwide would take place in Japan, with Bill Goldberg set to wrestle his first match since January 2001 and his first ever major event in the industry not under the WCW name, set to work back-to-back nights at the Budokan Hall in Tokyo in shows that would be evaluated by WWE to potentially accelerate negotiations and finally schedule the first meeting between Goldberg and the company planned for months, with the #1 Contender series continuing to open the second hour with Benoit advancing over Rikishi to set up a final match against Kurt Angle for the main event, seeing the show picking up viewers in almost every quarter throughout the broadcast to go from 4.8 million in the first hour to nearly 6 million viewers in the second, while setting up the top match of the night outside the tournament with Matt Hardy challenging Brock Lesnar midway through the second hour. Brock Lesnar's first match as WWE Champion was placed second from the top in the 7th quarter, with Lesnar's status now elevated to perhaps the most promoted performer in the company following the clean win over Rock on Sunday, with McMahon looking to establish him as the next top-drawing name to the wide audience, with his first big test set to come in 3 weeks for his first pay-per-view title defense at Unforgiven, with the entire pay-per-view marketing and commercial built around Brock, along with him having the political backing of head writer Heyman on the SmackDown brand, going 4 minutes against Matt Hardy in a match picking up the show into the 6 million viewers range for the first time on the night, and with Rock not scheduled to return until the start of next year for the potential follow-up. Brock's next most hyped opponent in Kurt Angle, in a match talked about even before he made his main roster TV debut all the way back to late 2001 based on their shoot wrestling match and athletic background, was brought up again during the week, with Angle in an interview in the Dallas market officially targeting it to take place at WrestleMania in 2003, saying that the eventual Angle vs. Lesnar match is the most anticipated match internally in the company for the office and talent roster, and they are probably going to stay away from each other for the next several months until starting to build to the WrestleMania match, with Lesnar's next title challenger for the immediate future was set to be determined next, with a major jump between the brands, as after promoting Angle vs. Benoit for the final #1 contender match while teasing a major signing from Raw, Undertaker was revealed as the new SmackDown performer to make it a 3-way match to go 9 minutes in the main event, seeing Angle vs. Taker vs. Benoit gaining further from the 400,000 viewers jump for the Lesnar-Hardy match to peak the night at over 6.2 million viewers, with SmackDown overall despite a major drop in the rating from last Thursday to a 3.1 in part because of the New York market preemption. Viewership told a better story, with more viewers per home watching on the night to see the show still drawing 5.4 million viewers, indicating that under normal circumstances SmackDown likely would have drawn one of the biggest audiences in months for the SummerSlam follow-up, ending up with Taker after a back-and-forth fast-paced match pinning Benoit for the finish to set him up as Lesnar's first title challenger in their first pay-per-view match built in the background over the past 2 months, including them already being booked in advance to headline tomorrow's Raw house show in Lincoln, despite both now being promoted as exclusive SmackDown performers, getting them ready for their first televised match, with the build-up set to kick off next week on the way to the Unforgiven pay-per-view.